All right, morning everyone. We're here at Doan's Crossing. This is basically dedicated to all the cattlemen that drove cattle through the northern outskirts of Texas and into the plains of Oklahoma through Indian Territory. This is one of the markers here. This says, in honor of the trail drivers who freed Texas from the yoke of debt and despair by their trails to the cattle markets of far north, we dedicate this stone, a symbol of their courage and fortitude, at the site of the old Doan store. This was October 21st, 22nd, 1931. This is the Western Texas-Kansas Trail. This monument was erected by Texans. And the cattle crossings and cattle drives went through 1876 through 1895. Roughly 19 million head of cattle were driven through here. Not just this point, but all areas of crossing over the Red River from Texas into Oklahoma. So we're going to see a little bit, hopefully we can see, some more of this monument here. And this one's Doan Crossing of the Red River by herds on the Western Texas Cattle or Kansas Trail, 1876 through 1895. 6 million cattle and horses crossed here. Specifically, you don't need much of a monument if the cause is good. It's only these monuments that are for no reason at all that has to be big good luck to you all. Anyhow, yours, Will Rogers. Dedicated to George W. Saunders, president of the Old Trail Drivers Association, who kept the trail records straight. And this was erected by the state of Texas in 1936. And here we got a placard talking about Doan's Crossing. A major route for cattle drives known primarily as the Western Trail developed from far south Texas to Dodge City, Kansas in the 1870s. About 1876, trail drivers along the route began crossing the Red River near this site. In 1878, Ohio native Jonathan Doan established a trading post near the crossing and became the first person to permanently settle in Wilbarger County, or maybe it's Wilbarger County, organized in 1881. In the early 1880s, he and his partner, nephew Corwin F. Doan, recorded the passage of hundreds of thousands of cattle along this river crossing, which became known as Doan's Crossing. And then here is another monument that shows all the, I would say probably the different farms and ranches that covered the cattle that crossed over this area. So then we go over here, and then looking over there across the street is the little, one of the little buildings that the Doans had erected out here at this crossing. The crossing itself goes down this road here and ends up right near or at the Red River. Not too bad. It hasn't rained here past couple of days, so that's good. Okay, so this is Captain John T. Lytle, 1844 to 1907, father of the Great Western Trail. 1874, John T. Lytle drove a herd of 3,500 longhorn cattle from South Texas to Fort Robinson, Nebraska. The trail that he mapped would later be known as the Great Western Cattle Trail. The greatest of all cattle trails, the trail was longer Mexico to Canada, carried more cattle, 6 to 8 million, and was in use longer from 1874 to 1893, almost a 20-year span basically. The trail was also known as the Texas Trail, Dodge City Trail, and more recently the Lonesome Dove Trail. Captain Lytle was a well-prepared drover and a great man, words of Corwin F. Doan. And this was erected by the Oklahoma chapter of the Great Western Cattle Trail Association in 2017. And then this is just a marker here of the Great Western Trail. And then, like I said, I believe this is one of the houses that the Doans had. They had an adobe building. Trying to watch out for anything that's on the ground here. So this is one of their buildings that they erected. And if this is correct, I think this one was a house and at one time a general store that was used. It's pretty quiet out here. This is kind of like the little plains area just before the Red River. We're going to come around here and look and see what this marker says. This is another just marker about, let's see, I think it's just, it's descendants of the adobe pioneers. And this is just a marker in their memory of Bod, Inez, and Maureen. So, yeah, can you imagine just back in the 1880s that this area was just literally hundreds of thousands of cattle all around just getting ready to go down to the river and cross into, at the time, before the statehood of Oklahoma, and it was into Indian territory that they would have drove the cattle through. But it's just amazing how big and at the same time how small our country is. Pretty interesting. I don't know if they would have gone right down this road, but I'm sure the road was not here. But it just went all through this area down to probably the lowest point where the cattle aren't jumping into the Red River by 10, 20 feet. You know, it was probably more like a boat ramp style of a landing going into the river there. But yeah, well, this is Doan's Crossing, now pretty much at the corner of Highway 2, 916 and 924. So going this way would be 924, and going this way is 2916, and going back that way is 2916. All right, we're on to the next location, which is going to be Elmer, Oklahoma. We'll talk to you soon.